Here's how most farmers plan their season. They open a seed catalog. They look at what's pretty. Very nice. They look at what's new. Ooh, that's cool. And they look at what their friends are going. I want to grow that too. But here's how the best farmers that I've interviewed plan their season. They open a one-page sheet, they sit down with a customer, and they ask very specific questions. That is the whole difference. I'm Diego, Diego. Welcome to Modern Grower, where we talk about building a profitable farm business, not just a farm. Let's look at a better alternative way to plan your farm. Farmer Ben Hartman is going into his 20th growing season. He wrote The Lean Farm. He farms on 15,000 square feet in Indiana, and the single most important tool on his farm isn't a tractor or a wash station. It's a piece of paper. Ben calls it the value sheet. It's a document that tells him what to plant, how much to plant, and when to deliver it. It replaces about half of what most farmers think of when it comes to crop planning. Most farmers start with their farm, their soil, their tools, their season, and then they go find customers for what they grow. They push their product onto the market. Ben does it backwards. The customer pulls product from the farm. To do that, he starts with the customer and he builds a farm and a farm plan around what the customer wants. And it's not a Ben original. He learned it from a guy named Jim Womack, who taught at MIT and wrote the book on lean production after studying Toyota. Womack told Ben that the entire lean philosophy boils down to one sentence. Pay attention, write this one down. Start with the customer and work backwards from there. And then Womack told them something that stuck. For farmers, this means they start with the seed catalog. Ben built the value sheet so he'd have to be in the other 1%. So exactly what's on that sheet? 3 columns. That's it. Column 1, what? Not lettuce, not tomatoes, specific. Salanova oak leaf, sun gold cherries, bunch cilantro with the stems. Column 2, when? Not in season, not weekly, precise. Thursday at 2 p.m. year-round starting week 18. Column 3, how much? Not whatever you've got, not we'll figure it out. A number. What, when, how much? 3 questions, 1 page, 1 conversation. And here's how Ben actually runs the conversation. Every winter, December, January timeframe, he sits down with each one of his chefs in person at the restaurant, not over email. He brings a printed sheet with last year's crop list down the left side, and he walks through every line. Take cilantro. Jesse is the head chef at one of his customers, Goshen Brewing, and they have a big food program, 300 plates of pad thai a night on a Good Friday. And guess what goes into that pad thai? Cilantro. Ben asks Jesse, what cilantro do you want? Bunched, stems on. When do you want it? 2 to 4 p.m. weekly. How much? 27 pounds a week, all season. That's not a contract. That's not a guess. That's not a forecast. That's a number, though, that Ben can plan his cilantro beds against in January. Stop and think about that for a second. Most growers don't know what they're going to plant until they've ordered seeds. Ben doesn't order the seeds until he's had this conversation. The customer dictates the seed order. Different business than a lot of people are operating. What if I don't sell to chefs? What if I sell at a farmer's market? Start looking at what customers are buying week in and week out. That shows you where demand is. And talk to some of your best customers. Is there anything you wish I had and would buy that I don't carry? Take notes and use that information to plan next season. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just a Ben Hartman trick, and after interviewing hundreds of farmers on the podcast, I've seen this pattern show up on farm after farm, but it looks a little different in each case. Here are 5 farmers, 5 very different operations, but the same underlying principle here. Number 1, Leslie Dennis. She's a market grower in Kentucky. You'd think the farmer's market is one channel where you can't ask customers what they want. They show up on Saturday morning, point at things, and you hand them cash. Leslie doesn't operate that way. She runs a pre-order window every week. It opens on Wednesday, it closes Friday at noon, and by the time she harvests on Friday afternoon, she already knows who's buying what. A third of her customers pick up pre-orders at the booth. Same move as Ben's value sheet, different scale. Leslie asks, what do you want? How much? Every week instead of January. Number 2, farmer Jodi Roebuck. New Zealand market gardener, 2 restaurant customers, twice a week delivery. Jodi could just email them a fresh sheet, but he doesn't. He calls each chef on the phone and walks through the crop list item by item, because if he doesn't, he's learned that chefs forget things. And then they call him at the last minute asking for 20 bunches of cilantro after he's already sold it to someone else. Same move, weekly cadence, phone, not paper. Number 3, Dustin LaBat. He runs a U-Pick farm and he has one specific customer that sometimes asks him to grow broccoli and red cabbage on demand. She'll give him a notice, he keeps the seeds on hand, and when she calls, he grows it. When she doesn't, he doesn't. That's a value sheet of 1 row for 1 customer. Farmer Will Conway, Stoneacre Farms, he has an on-farm restaurant that runs 48 dinner nights a year. Will talks to that chef weekly, sometimes daily, not to take orders, to plan menus around what's coming off the farm. Same move, inverted. The chef is asking him what he has instead of him asking the chef what they want. Either direction works. The point is the conversation is happening. Number 5, Robert Arnold runs a 400 customer online farm store. He can't sit down with 400 people in the winter. Nobody can, so he's automated the conversation. He uses Twilio to text customers who haven't ordered by Wednesday morning. It's a personalized text and it pulls from their order history. Same move, scaled. The pattern here is conversation, not the format. In person, on the phone, by text, on a website, it doesn't matter. What matters is the customer's order exists before the seed order does. The customer is pulling your production. You're not pushing it forward. They specify what they want. You get it. And that's what most growers skip. They plant, then they pray somebody wants it. This model is the inverse. You already know somebody wants it when you plant it. Here's a test. Look at this season's crop plan. Look at every crop on it. Ask yourself this question. This will be very telling. Who specifically ordered this? If you can't name a customer for every crop, you're guessing. You're not planning. Did the customer want you to order those seeds, or did you want to order those seeds? It was probably you. Shame on you. Here's the part that actually changes your next season, not Ben's. Okay, so what does your version of the sheet look like? You probably don't have one chef ordering 27 pounds of cilantro a week. Most viewers on this channel are going to have mixed market streams, restaurants, CSAs, farmers market. Here's how to translate that value sheet to your operation. Step 1, Identify your top 5 customers by revenue. Not your favorite 5, not the 5 who pay on time, the top 5 by dollars. For most market gardeners, that's a couple of restaurants, your largest CSA tier, and maybe a wholesale account or two. Step 2, schedule a sit down with each of them in the winter before you order seeds for next season. For chefs, that's a 15-minute coffee. They have time when it's slow that they might not have in the summer when things really get busy. For CSA members, that's a survey, but a real one, not a 5-question Google form. Ask for varieties, ask for windows, ask for quantities. Step 3, bring a printed sheet with last year's data. Don't show up empty-handed for this. Go in prepared. Show your chef. Here's what you ordered last year, week by week, in pounds and dollars. That sheet does 2 things. It makes the conversation specific, and it reminds them of stuff that they've forgotten about. Step 4, fill in all 3 columns together. What, when, how much, for every crop that they want for you. Step 5, walk away with a 1-page contract. Not legal, just operational. Both of you have a copy. Both of you know what's coming. Both of you can use this to plan. And here's the thing, nobody will tell you about doing it this way. You don't have to do this with every customer. Ben doesn't have 100 chefs. He has 4, maybe 5. This is Pareto. You choose the vital core. 20% of your customers are doing 80% of your revenue. That's the 20% who gets involved in this conversation. The other 80%, they get a price list. Don't try to value sheet everyone. I can't emphasize this point strong enough as a business owner. Certain customers matter more than others. That's just how it is. We have customers who have ordered tens of thousands of dollars of products from us over the last 10 years. We have somebody who places one order and never comes back. While I respect all of my customers, I genuinely value the input of the ones who bought a lot and stuck around for a long time, and you should do the same with your business. Let's do a business breakdown. The math. You don't need a number for this one, you need a ratio. How many of the crops on your crop plan right now have a specific customer attached to them? If it's under 50%, you might be farming on speculation, and speculation usually means low margins. The farms I've watched stay in business for the longest, almost everything that they plant is going to somebody. There's a reason why they're planting it. They're not guessing. The move. This week, pick one customer, your biggest, your most consistent. It doesn't matter. Send them a 1-line message. I'm building next season's crop plan around what you actually want. Can we sit down for 30 minutes this month? That's the whole move. One message, one customer this week. The mindset. You're not a farmer who sells what you grow. You're a business that grows what you sell. That's so wise. Let's say that again. You're not a farmer who sells what you grow. You're a business that grows what you sell. Print that. Put it on your computer where you see it every day and really internalize that because it's powerful. Most growers think that their job is to grow food. It is, but that's not the business. The business is the conversation that happens before anything goes in the ground. So have that conversation and let those conversations dictate your growing and what happens in the field. Now use that to go build a farm business, not just a farm, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Diego, Diego. Thanks for watching Modern Grower. Hit like, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you next time. Be nice? No, I messed that up. We can leave this in. No need to cut it. And as always, be nice, be thankful, and and do the work.